Hi, my name is Kem Haggard and I'm 55 and my position is Senior Pastor at Harbor Light Assembly of God in Wrangell, Alaska. When it comes to defining leadership, along with the words influence and of course example, the other four words that come to my mind are direction, because I believe that leadership involves direction. It also involves information, that we have to provide information as leadership so that we know where we're going and how to get there. Also inspiration, just with the idea of saying, you know what, this is where we want to go, and I want to walk side by side with you, along with providing the step to where we're going. And then of course that involves support. So those four things, direction, information, inspiration, and support, are key in my mind as far as leadership, and it continues to grow when I define that word. As far as characteristics that set a leader apart from the group, I would say that the leader is willing to stand alone, to be up front, and to be the first one on the trail, alert and watching. The best example that I can possibly give you is here in Alaska, when we go up to see a bear observatory. On the trail, you can actually encounter real bears, and there's no fence between us. The first one on the trail is the leader. That's the person that's watching, is alert, and is ready anytime we encounter a bear to say, this is what we need to do. And so to me, that's what sets the leader apart. As far as how did I get into leadership, I would say that it was where I began serving. My wife and I began to work with teenagers and just serve. And then all of a sudden, my heart began to grow, seeing the fact that they needed somebody to pour into them, to let them know how much God cared about them and that God had a plan for their life and a purpose. And then, of course, it morphed into seeing that for a church, that it wasn't just about young people, it wasn't just about children, but it was the entire church that needed direction, and even our community. And so I think that that's really how I got into leadership. It just was God's heart. The most unexpected part of leadership that I didn't see coming, probably as a pastor, was the broad vision. Because a lot of times what I saw in youth ministry was really something narrow. It was about the teenagers, it was about the parents, but I didn't see the whole picture, and I didn't see the body of Christ working together. And so I think that that's probably one of the most unexpected things, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to see the body of Christ and all of it looking in all directions. My picture of leadership has changed in the fact that not every person that comes to me with criticism or is, Pastor, I need to talk to you about something, isn't a threat. And in fact, it's not necessarily a criticism. It's actually a chance for me to look inwardly and say, God, am I missing something? God, is there something that they're seeing that I'm not? Is there something that I need to change? And so really not be threatened by that. And so I think that that's one of the pictures of leadership that I've had to change in my own mind. As far as measuring leadership and saying it's successful, I think one of the things that's changed for me is that it's not leadership in the moment, it's leadership for the years. Because what I see is that we can change behavior temporarily. And what you want to see is you want to see leadership become something that is a lasting impact. And so, of course, it takes years for that to happen. And to follow up that question, has anything happened where you were like, man, I really made a difference? Yeah, there was one instance that really caught me off guard. And I can remember as a youth pastor going to visit a junior higher. His name was David Stain. He still lives in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And I went to visit him. I remember thinking, this kid is just, he's a handful. I can remember visiting his house, and his chihuahua actually came out and ruined my brand new shoes. And moving on 24 years later, this guy finds me on Facebook and says, Pastor Kem, I just want to tell you, you made a huge impact on my life. In fact, in one of your sermons, I've lived my life by that. And by the way, I'm being baptized this Sunday at my church. He's now an adult, and he's a father. And he said, I would like for you to watch online. If you would do that, I would be honored. And so I think that it's the years, and I went, wow, I didn't even realize that I was making that big an impact on that little junior higher. The scenarios that I look back at that I feel like I've dropped the ball are so many. Specifically, as I've been talking about, just measuring the moment instead of looking at the heart change for a longer period of time, because that's what we want to see. We can change and modify the behavior just momentarily, but we really want to see long-lasting change. We want it to be deep and heartfelt. We want it to last forever. And as far as learning from it, I would say just I have to remember that what I'm seeing a lot of times is not reality, and that over time the things that we poured in are going to actually make a difference, and someday we will see what really is taking place. Now, when it comes to the parts of my personality that play into natural leadership, I must admit I don't see myself as a natural leader. I think that I have to work hard at that. But I will say this. The one part of leadership that I feel like God has gifted me with is relationships, and it's care and concern for people, which I see as a shepherd, just really wanting to see those people move in the right direction. And when I think about, what have I had to shape, I think that it's probably stepping up faster as a leader rather than sitting back, because a lot of times what I'll do is I'll sit back and I'll evaluate the situation rather than jumping head first into it. I would rather sit back and look at it from many, many angles, and I'm learning that I have to step forward a little bit sooner. And then when it comes to being task-oriented or people-oriented, it's definitely people. I would rather spend time with people than spend time on the tasks. And so that actually even leads me into the next question with what's important as far as building a team. I definitely have to have people with me and around me. It's the body of Christ working together. Not all of us are eyes, not all of us are ears. I love Henry Blackaby's analogy when it comes to the man that's standing on the train tracks, and the eyes are saying, there is no train coming, but the ears are saying, no, there is a train coming. And so what happens is the neck and the body turn around, and of course there is a train coming. The ears heard it, but the eyes didn't see it. And so I think that it's important to have that team of people that are together, that they're not a threat. They're actually a blessing, being able to see different things. So how do my spiritual gifts play into my leadership? I think the people part is really important for me, because I am wanting to shepherd them. I don't want anything to destroy them. I want them to continue to grow, and so I'm always looking at how can we work with these people? How can we get them closer to God? How can we establish a communication line that is directly in line with God, so that it's God and them, not God, me and them? Because I really want to see that take place in their life as a shepherd, and seeing where they are and where we need to go. And then the last thing, what is one piece of advice? I'm going to give you something that I read this morning in my own devotion in my private time with God, and it's actually found in 1 Samuel 10:7. And I know that we give Saul a bad time because he got off track. But before he got off track, when Samuel was talking to him in 1 Samuel 10:7, he says this, and I love the way it's said in the Message, and it says, whatever job you're given to do, do it. God is with you. And so that's what I would encourage you as leaders to do, and as college students, because already God is giving you opportunities, He's given you jobs, and whatever job is given to you, do it and know that God is with you. Hey, thanks for your time. Have a great day.